welcome to episode 5 of Podcast. I'm your host, Illyrio. This is a second vidcast for me, which bodes well, I guess. Merry Christmas. I have the holiday tree back here. Hope you're having a happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy Festivus, happy Solstice, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate this time of year. Enjoy. I hope you're having a really good time. If gifts are involved in whatever you're celebrating at this time, I hope you get what you want, or at least you like what you get. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about something that's uniquely Canadian, and it's something that actually has the word Canadian in it. In Canada, we have these large box stores that I guess you could kind of call them a hardware store, but they do have housewares and other things as well. But they're not like Walmart, where Walmart sells t-shirts and some of them sell food. I speak, of course, of Canadian Tire. Canadian Tire started off very, very long ago, I believe over 75 years ago, as a place where you go buy tires. Canadian Tire. Then also had a hardware store part to it, and then over time developed also some housewares and some, Canadian Tire is where you go if you want to pick up a snowblower, or a leaf blower, or a barbecue, or garden tools, or hockey sticks, hockey equipment, hockey skates. That's clearly wintertime. You can buy a bicycle, you can buy shower head, shower rod, you can buy some plumbing supplies, you can buy car batteries, tires, windshield wipers, windshield wiper fluid. There are a bunch of things you can get at Canadian Tire. It's kind of the place to go to get stuff. Some of us in Canada like calling it crappy tire. Not because the stuff they sell is crappy, but it's just kind of fun to say. Apart from Canadian Tire being Canadian and unique in that, well, it's the only one we have, you can have Canadian Tire money. And this here is a sample of said Canadian Tire money. I'm going to show you the back of the 5-cent note. You can see the logo, the Canadian Tire logo. And in front here, we like to kid around and say that this is the President of Canada to unsuspecting tourists. But this is redeemable at any Canadian Tire location in exchange for merchandise. And the way it works is when you go to Canadian Tire and you buy anything with cash, you get a percentage of your purchase cost given back to you in Canadian Tire money. That was 10 cents. I have a 25-cent note right here. Right, there he is, Mr. Smiley white-haired guy with a little Scottish hat. I think it's got a feather in there. He's got one of those wide mustaches that you could curl. It looks very nice. Doesn't look very menacing at all. Very genteel souled type guy. Again, this is redeemable at any Canadian Tire location in exchange for stuff. So basically it gets you to go back and shop. It's not really redeemable anywhere else. I mean, you can't walk down to a local corner store or fast food place and pay in Canadian Tire money. I actually, though, have seen some pawn shops advertising in their windows that they do accept Canadian Tire money, which I guess they're allowed to do since, your store. You can exchange for whatever you want. It's just kind of funny that we don't think twice about this in Canada. This is perfectly normal for us that we go to a place, we'll buy a vacuum cleaner or a vacuum cleaner bag or any other vacuum cleaner related purchase. And that reminds me, I think I need a new vacuum. Anyway, enough about that. So you have your vacuum cleaner and your vacuum cleaner bags and your vacuum cleaner refill filters, and you're gonna go pay for this, and you pay, and then they give you back your change and extra money. That's, this nice colorful stuff. We don't think twice about that. We just take it, we put it in our pocket or our wallet, and we put it at home with the roll of other Canadian Tire money, which I've misplaced my giant roll of Canadian Tire money, but that's okay. I'm sure the cat's playing with it. We don't think twice about it. It's perfectly normal. We go somewhere, we buy something, they give us extra money back, which we can only use there. So that's Canadian Tire money for you. Very, very, very useful at this time of year. People are often scrounging around the house and the car looking for extra little bits of Canadian Tire money during the holiday season when they go and shop at Canadian Tire for gifts. for, little things that Canadian Tire sells that people would enjoy. But that's something I think that a lot of people outside Canada have no idea exists. And I find it particularly funny. Also on today's agenda, I'd like to talk about some of the Christmas activities that I've been involved in recently. I want to thank Colleen and Jay. Colleen is a regular co-host of MetroBuzz. Jay guest co-hosted with her on MetroBuzz's second year finale episode. Unfortunately, John Norton, the second official co-host, he usually hosts the show with Colleen, was not available. He tried to get in on the conversation, but TalkShoe just crapped on him the whole time and didn't let him through. So unfortunately, he could not be there, but I was lucky enough to participate and go through my top 5 torture songs. I think the term was our torture playlist. A playlist we would play to someone if we wanted to torture them. And rather than pick individual songs, I believe I picked Canadian artists. I believe number 5 was Alanis Morissette. My number 4, it was Bryan Adams, followed by Avril Lavigne, and I think I rounded it off with Shania Twain at number 2, and the queen of annoying Canadian singers, Celine Dion, at number 1. Had a great time, awesome time participating in that live show, and wanted just to congratulate MetroBuzz again on a second year of podcasting. I don't know how you organize your lives around being able to do this stuff. Again, it's miraculous that I've been able to find 15 minutes to talk to you right now. Also, I was extraordinarily honored to be asked to participate, and was lucky enough that we could find some time so that I could participate in one of the 12 Days of Trivia War. The Trivia War podcast had the most awesomest idea of having a short Trivia War episode every day for the 12 days of Christmas. And I believe I might actually be day 12. The topic for the little episode I was in was Charlie Brown Christmas. So if you're not yet subscribed to Trivia War, check them out, subscribe, check out the episode I'm on, and root for me, or root for Robin. He's nice too. We were enemies during the trivia portion of the event, but he was actually quite nice the rest of the time. So they're both quite funny. It's a podcast I've recently discovered, and I'm very, very happy that I'm listening to that. Make me laugh out loud. I'd like to talk about now something I'd like to review. It's a product that we purchased for ourselves this Christmas, a nice Christmas gift from Santa to Santa, if you catch my drift. And, well, from Mrs. Claus to Santa Claus, and from Santa Claus to Mrs. Claus, I guess would be more accurate. And it's a camcorder. And it's the Canon Vixia HF10 HD camcorder. This thing records, look at this thing, it's very small, about the size of a can of cola. And it actually records in HD, which is funny because we don't own an HD TV. I recorded a little bit of this with this, and it basically looks huge on the computer screen, and hopefully we'll find a way to actually be able to view these quite nicely. I was extraordinarily impressed with how lightweight it is. This does not record on a tape, it does not record on a DVD, and it does not record on a hard drive. It records on flash memory, which is the same kind of memory in an iPod Nano or iPhone or iPod Touch, and or on a little USB memory stick you might have. So no moving parts. The advantage to this is that there's no noise whirring in the background when you listen to your recordings. If background noise is important to you, the only noise you'll hear is the tightening in or whitening out of your zoom. And so far so good. I'm really enjoying the quality of it. The ease of use is quite fantastic, and it also takes 3 megapixel still shots. So if you're into getting a camcorder, this is a great buy. I mean, I can't compare it to anything. I've never owned a camcorder before, and I did a little bit of research, and mostly on YouTube, which is turning out to be the new Google and the new Wikipedia for me. You might want to look up soldering guitar on YouTube and find a whole bunch of different instructional videos, none of which actually helped me with my issue at the time, but they were all quite informative. This is an excellent camera. The built-in memory will record about 2 hours of HD footage. The battery that comes included with it will only last you about 55 minutes. So maybe, you know, the memory is made in the United States and the battery is made in Canada, and because of exchange rate issues, there's a problem. You can order an extended life battery that'll go. I did a little online search and I found prices varying from $75 US all the way to $120 US for the battery that'll last you about an hour and a half to close to 2 hours. So if you're looking for a camcorder, it is quite cool. The one drawback is that it records in this AVC HD format, which unless you have a recent computer, you're going to have a hard time being able to edit in that format with any software that you're used to. If you're using a relatively new Mac and iMovie 08, everything's good to go out of the box. You won't even have to touch the CD that comes in the actual Canon box. So your setup that you have already will actually work out really well. So that's that. I want to mention that there's been a little bit of entertainment news in Canada. Last summer was the first edition of So You Think You Can Dance Canada, the Canadian edition of the So You Think You Can Dance franchise, was a resounding success. And the network that produces this, CTV, Canadian Television, or probably actually commercial television is actually the real origin of the call letters. They're one of the two major networks in Canada. They have decided that because of the success of So You Think You Can Dance Canada, that they're going to drop the Canadian edition of Idol. Canadian Idol, which is the equivalent to American Idol, will not actually take place in 2009. The quote is something to the effect of, due to current economic situations, Canadian Idol will rest in 2009. And so they're going to take a break from Canadian Idol, and they're going to focus all their production money into So You Think You Can Dance Canada 2009 edition, which is a huge shock because we were really getting used to Canadian Idol. It had been on for 5 straight seasons. Had received, I think the ratings were slowing down year by year, but nothing drastic. Granted, I only liked one of the 5 winners. And apart from that, they were just atrocious. I enjoyed all the runner-ups a lot more than the actual winners, but you know how it is with popularity contests and stuff. This is big news for me on a personal level because the host of Canadian Idol, it will not be on television in prime time anymore. I mean, he still hosts this kind of Canadian version of entertainment news programming every day at 7 or 7:30, but I never watch that kind of stuff anyway. So he still has that, but he's not going to be on a stage, live television, talking to people with his ridiculous head of hair, picture inserted now, and his ridiculous attempts at trying any form of elocution. This person is not going to be on television as much as before, and it makes me very happy. I'm speaking, of course, of Ben. I call him Benedict Mulroney. If the last name rings a bell, he is in fact the son of our former Prime Minister, Brian Mulroney. And I must say, this makes me very happy. So, a lovely Christmas gift from CTV to all Canadians who actually enjoy people who can speak and aren't vapid, horrid media whores. So, thank you, CTV, for putting that in my stocking this year. I am reveling in the news, and I hope that if Canadian Idol does return in 2010, that they will use it as an opportunity to refresh the concept, and hopefully that will include a new host. One last thing I want to talk about before it's time to go is something I've been reading in anticipation for the release of the film in March, and that is Watchmen. Watchmen is something that I heard of for the first time. I'm not that big into comic books, so you'll have to forgive me, those of you who may be watching that are. I first heard of Watchmen at Comic-Con because people were talking about the panel and the trailer and all kinds of good stuff. I'm loving this. I'm not a big comic book reader. This graphic novel is fabulous. The chapters of comic book style storytelling are intercut with excerpts from fictitious autobiographies and research papers, and it's really, really good. And if you enjoy a work of ruthless psychological realism. It's a landmark in the graphic novel medium. Then I believe this is for you. A brilliant piece of fiction. It's groundbreaking, a masterwork representing the apex of artistry. All these, I'm sure, are true. I'm about halfway through it. I'm loving it. It's definitely something I'm recommending to people, and I can't wait for the film. I hope it won't disappoint. So Watchmen, for those of you who may not have thought to actually pick it up and give it a read, it's a very easy read, and it's something that I'm very, very pleased that I picked up.
Just a matter of time, I suppose.
Watchmen. One of us died tonight. Somebody knows why. Somebody knows.
I heard he'd been working for the government. Maybe it was a political killing.
Maybe someone's picking off costumed heroes.
John thinks that there's going to be a nuclear war.
What if that's why someone wants us out of the way? So we can't do anything to stop it. An attack on one is an attack on all of us.
Watchmen are over. What do you suggest we do about it?
Retribution.
We can save this world.
Why would I save the world I no longer have any stake in?
Do it for me.
The world will look up and shout, "Save us." And I'll whisper, "No."
Well, that's it for today's show. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully, you'll be hearing me in early January. Again, have a happy new year. Great holiday season. Hope that whatever you find under the tree and in your stocking is exactly what you wanted. And if not, I hope it's exactly what you needed. If you'd like to reach the show, pausecast@gmail.com. If you want to check out the website, that's pausecast.com. If you're not getting updated episodes in your iTunes or whatever program software that you're using to catch podcasts, just go to the website and click on the subscribe link. I had to change the feed address for the for iTunes for some reason. If you want to follow me on Twitter, that's twitter.com/Illyrio. Just send me a follow request and I'll be happy to let you follow. Thank you once again, and from me, here in Montreal, I want you to stay calm, be brave, and watch for the signs.
At the end of the day, our whole family will say these words for Hanukkah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech haolam Asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Hanukkah. We light the candle